Welcome to today's video. My name is Hector Santiesteban, and here at Millennial Skills, our mission is to help you find more money and more meaning in your life. So let's talk about today's topic, and today's topic is when you're thinking about giving up. And what I've found over my couple of decades of living is that we as a generation have so many opportunities in life and so many different avenues that we could take and so many different things that we can do that in order to do those things, we have to be able to sacrifice something. We have to give up something, or we have to quit some sort of thing in order to pursue that other opportunity. But what I found, and maybe it's every generation, but in my time working with thousands of millennials, I found that we, as a generation, have a tendency to give up too easily. We have a tendency to not push through those initial obstacles. We have a tendency to not push through those initial challenges, and we don't give ourselves the right amount of time to really get as good as we feel we are. And so I want to talk about a couple of things that you want to think about when you're thinking about giving up, right? And this could be in anything. Maybe you're thinking about giving up at work, right? Maybe you're thinking, maybe you're looking for, a new opportunity, right? Maybe you're thinking about giving up in a relationship, right? Maybe it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a friendship, or maybe you're thinking about giving up, just like turning in and just saying, man, I'm going into the woods, or I'm just going to give into life's challenges. And I think that it's super important to understand why it is that you're going to give up, right? Why? What is that reason? To what end? Is it so that because you could have more freedom? Is it you're going to give up because it's easier? Or are you going to give up because maybe there's a perceived better opportunity on the other side? I think it's really important for us to dig into our motivations of why we are giving up. And what I find too much is that people base their decision on the circumstances and not necessarily reality. And so let me tell you what I mean. What I see people give up is they give up because of events. They give up because something happened, right? And I think that's one of the worst things that you can do, is give up because something happened, right? We can't control those things. But what I find is that people make rash decisions in times where they're not thinking correctly, right? And I think it's super important to have those motivations clear in our head. So why is it that you're giving up? I think that's super important. Now, the second thing is, what is it that you're going to do, right? What is it that you're going to do afterwards? I find that so many people, they look externally and they look to the circumstances to figure out how successful that they're going to be, when really what they should be doing is looking internally. They should be looking inside. What did they do to help them or to not help them in their current situation? What habits, what mindsets, what values, what actions, what thought processes are they taking right now that currently led them to be in this position? And what I've found is that usually it's not the circumstances, it's usually the individual. And if they were to make a couple of different habit changes, or they were able to make a couple of different value changes, they were to start investing in themselves a little bit differently, I find that people have a huge turnaround. Let me give you an example. I had someone who was working with me for almost a year and hadn't had the greatest results, wasn't seeing drastic amounts of results or improvement. But one thing that I love is she just kept chugging away and chugging away and chugging away and plugging away and plugging away and plugging away. And in a matter of 1 week, she tripled her entire productivity in 1 week. And it came from her constantly learning and constantly growing. And she had so many opportunities to give up. And I had conversations with her about other things that she could do. She looked other places. But one thing that I really love about her is she looked internally. She looked inside to what she can change and what she can improve. And she ended up having dramatic results. And so the last thing that I want to cover is actually like how to determine that, right? I think there's a couple of key things that you need to consider. The first and most important thing to consider is yourself, right? To think about you, yourself, your circumstances, your future, right? Because I think the most important thing that we can make, the most important person that we can make a decision for is ourself. The second thing that I think that you can bring into your consideration is other people, right? Other people that specifically that right? Your current circle. How is this decision going to affect those people, right? Is it easier for you, but then it makes it tough on them, right? That's something that happens a little bit. And then lastly, what is your impact on society? Are you giving up on the opportunity or the possibility of impacting someone who you may not have come into contact with? Who are you taking away from by not spreading your message? Who is being punished because you are giving up? And it's an interesting thing to think about, but I think that those three things, when you take into consideration yourself, others that you know, and then even others that you don't know, and you do some serious self-reflection, what you'll find is that the decision-making process usually becomes a lot easier.